Going into the 2021 Wisconsin archery season, we knew we were going to have some shooter bucks that we could go after this year. And we put our cameras out in December after gun season, and sure enough, our number one shooter buck, the Big Ten, he was on camera. We just put our trail cameras out. Sure enough, the first buck we got on camera was our number one target buck. The Big Ten showed up, and he was a stud. Could not wait to get in the woods to go after this deer. August and September, he was showing up on trail camera consistently in daylight hours just before hunting season, and he vanished. Never showed back up on camera. So then we knew we had a couple more shooter bucks that were on camera. We had a buck we named Gumdrop and Speckles, and those were our two shooter bucks going into this hunting season after our number one target buck left. We ended up planting some bean food plots in early July. And sure enough, we had Gumdrop all over, everywhere, on every camera that we had out. He was roaming around. Same with Speckles. He was a pretty consistent buck, roaming around throughout the summer. Put in our food plots for this upcoming fall. We ended up getting Northwoods whitetail seeds for our brassica mix this year, and they turned out amazing. We planted them in August, and we spread them in right into our bean field. So this woods comes down into a funnel. We have a big swamp that kind of comes through, and there's a high ground actually in the middle of a swamp. And it kind of comes through and it cuts through, and there's a pinch point in between our food plot and big ag fields. It's right in between there. It's hardwoods, drops down this big ridge into the swamp, and then there's another little high ground in the swamp. And the bucks really tend to use that during the rut. So we knew we wouldn't want to go in there early season and hunt this spot. We would just wait until late October to go in there when the bucks are starting to rut. That's Gumdrop right there. Yes. Alrighty guys, it is October 23rd today. Just gonna give you guys an update on how our food plot's looking. As you recall, us back in summer, we planted all this in beans, and then a little bit later we planted our radish and turnip mixtures, and it's coming up really good, and we got really good bulbs coming up. And I think the reason why we got such a good crop out of it is the beans that we planted put a lot of nitrogen into their soil, and then once we spread the brassicas in afterwards, they just soaked up all that nitrogen that the beans put in the soil and are doing really well. It's a phenomenal food plot here. We've had our target bucks on this food plot already this year. Got pictures of them, and it's shaping out to be really good food plot here. Back out here for the night sit here. Went back to a stand that I haven't been in 2 years, and got in here. A couple trees went down, and set a camera back out in here. I still got my shooting lanes. They're all good to go. So seat is squeaky as can be. Cannot sit down and move. So it's gonna be one of those nights. But walking in, tons of buck sign, buck poop, scrapes, rubs. It's looking really promising. And a good trail comes right out of the swamp here. And it cuts across right past my stand here, right into the bean field. So this is gonna be a good night. The squirrels are all over the place in here, but I got a good feeling about tonight. Probably won't see anything, but yeah, I love this stand, dude. Pretty excited to sit in it again. Haven't been in it 2 years. Finally came back in here, so. Back out here Sunday morning here. Pretty nice morning. Got down to 30 degrees. Got a nice frost on the ground. I got a southeast wind today. Perfect for the stand. This is the stand we call the killing tree. Every time we get an east wind, we go to the stand. It sets up perfect for an east wind. And so this stand should be money. Only thing is, yesterday I walked past this tree stand to get out of my one stand, and I kicked a couple deer out of here, so that might kind of play a role in how many deer we see tonight, or this morning, excuse me. We got perfect conditions. Everything's exactly how it should be. We just gotta wait for a big boy to walk in, you know, so. Morning has been pretty eventful. We are up to 10 for sure different deer. I just had another group of 6 does come right underneath my tree stand here, and then I couldn't get any of them on video because I couldn't move. The stand's pretty open on this one side and you can't move at all, so it's really hard to self-film in here. And right out in front of us, it's super thick. You can't see much in here. But I seen that small little basket's having about 15 yards. And all of a sudden I seen some more deer coming from the back in the swamp. And boom, buck just comes rutting those does. And there was this ones that were right by my stand here. They stood, and then they walked back to the south here, and then just moseyed on. But then that buck was just cruising this way, and I couldn't tell what it was. He was just grunting. And now 6 does came from back behind me here, came right down, literally underneath my tree stand, and they finally walked away. Then out of the blue, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down for a little bit. I sat down. All of a sudden I looked to my right and I'm like, crap, the buck's coming, that little 5-pointer. came right on this trail at 10 yards, and then he walked under that tree here. I'm not sure if I got any video of him. I just pointed the camera in the direction, hoping that it might get something, but yeah, it's been pretty eventful. It's 9:30 here, so we're probably gonna give it another hour. See what happens. It is the morning of October 30th here. We're sitting in the stand. We have not sat in. I haven't sat this stand for probably 3 years. It's a good spot though. It's running along this river. Haven't even have a camera in here. I don't really know what's in here, but it's a great rut spot. The bucks come cruising right through this river all the time, every single year through the right in the rut. They just start cruising this river. And I got up in my stand here, and I kicked 3 deer out when I came into this spot. But when I was up in my tree here, just before light, I had a little buck come underneath my stand here and walk right to where I know there was a deer that was standing right over here, and I was climbing up my stand, and I got halfway up and it ran away, and he went right to where that deer was, and he put his nose to the ground and just beelined. So hopefully good things to come, and stay tuned. We're gonna put down a booner on the river bottom. Well, it is 10 o'clock here. I'm probably gonna head her out of the stand here. Overall, it was a pretty good morning. Seeing 3 8-pointers and a spike, and I seen a doe. But just like I thought they would be doing this morning, just running the river, and exactly what they did this morning. And it's pretty cool seeing those bucks and seeing them make a scrape over there and everything, and that was pretty sweet. So we're gonna head out of here. We haven't had a deer come by in a couple hours, so we should be able to sneak out of here undetected, and yeah.
Buddy. That's Gumdrop right there. Yes. He's like 40 yards, 50 yards away. Crazy dude. I'm gonna get a better angle, but 8 o'clock. Came in here, checked the camera card. Nothing on it. Just dead. Couple running bucks. And I thought, well, we might have picked the wrong stand, but all of a sudden it got light out. The turkeys flew down out of the roost. Out of nowhere. Here comes it. Gumdrop right out of the swamp. He had a doe with him, and they were coming. I thought he was coming to the right here, or to the left. I thought I was gonna get a shot right down here. just right on her. And I had a perfect shot, drew back. It was right back there. It came in my opening. And I mean, we just it looked perfect. The arrow just went bam right through. I don't know where my arrow is right now. It looked like you drilled another bug. No. Where is she? Right to the left. Look at that. He is down right there. In the camera frame. He's down, bud. Yeah, dude. Dad text you? I just text Dad. He hasn't texted back. Well, I don't have good signal down here, but yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, he came right from the south, right out of the swamp. Yeah. I'll call you back later. I can't hear you. Bye. We got no signal down in the swamp here, so. Dad's pumped. Dad just called me. He's in the stand too, so he must not be having any action. Let's get out and track this thing. Track him. Let's go get him. He's done, baby. Let's go. Boom. Let's pack up. Let's get out of here. Go get him. Alrighty, this is where we shot him here in the tree stand. It's like 23 yards, right at the mock scrape we had here. Not sure whereabouts my arrow is. Kind of look for my arrow, and then we're gonna go get him. Definitely spot impact. I think it fell out a little bit up. It should be on this side. Yep. Still on his track. Look at the rage. Broke your Nockturnal. Yeah. He's right there, bud. Right there. November
6th. Headed up to Ladysmith last night, and then we snuck out in the woods this morning. We got in here, had a good time. We checked the trail camera, and I was looking at the card pictures, and there was just hasn't been much moving through here. Just a couple small bucks running off does. No mature bucks that were running through this area. So I was kind of getting my hopes down, but I just had a weird feeling about today that we were going to get it done. And sure enough, 8 o'clock rolls around, just barely got light. And sure enough, all of a sudden Carson's like, big buck. And I look to my left, and sure enough, I see him coming. And I knew it was Gumdrop as soon as I seen him, because he's got this weird looking little drop tine thing. And he was coming right down, and he was sticking right tight to his doe. And sure enough, I was getting kind of nervous because the doe walked kind of back down in the swamp. And I was just keeping an eye on the doe, because wherever the doe was going to go, that's where he was going to go. And sure enough, the doe walked right under the scrape, checked the scrape, and I'm like, here we go. He's going to come. He's a follower. Sure enough, he popped out right on the scrape there. I drew back, and he stepped onto the scrape, and I let her fly, and it looked perfect, but I think I got him just a little bit back, but he didn't go 50 yards and just tipped right over. So I couldn't be any happier. It was a beautiful morning today, a little bit warm, but it was like 45 degrees, so not your typical November 6th weather, but couldn't be any happier with a nice buck like this one. And he's got real dark chocolate horns and just got a little bit of character to him. So
done, baby. Boom.
Pretty pumped.